Not working. Now it's working. Hey, hello. Hear me now? Yeah, did you hear that really echoey bad part for just a second? Sorry about that. Whenever, yeah. Hi there. Oh, Caitlin, yeah. Bucket list to have an in-ground pool put in your dream house. There you go. You got to be really careful with them in-ground pools, though, you know. Not speaking from experience or anything. Thank you for letting me know that the sound is fixed now. Greatly appreciate that. It wouldn't be a Wednesday live without some kind of, gremlin. It just wouldn't be the same. Hey, first goal of the day is 2K lightning bolts to get Candy Thunder up here. She is in the house today. Also, Luna Thunder is in the house today. We've got Tony Spark. Caden Thunder will be here in a little bit. We have Miles here as well. We got the crew. The crew is here. Hello, everyone. Ooh, go to Pompeii. Lady Van Landingham. That sounds awesome. Bucket list. Go to Ireland and Scotland to trace your roots. That sounds awesome, too. Honey Bear, you've been awake since yesterday and I made you think you were hallucinating. I'm sorry. I can do that sometimes. Also, I'll try to really mess with you now that I know. Jim, to go to America. Oh, there's so much. I mean, I forget. I forget because we're here, right? But for people in other parts of the world, USA is massive. Like, we've got a whole world here within this country, and there's so much to see. It's wild. Hey, Sophia, visit Dusty and Candy and Tony in KC. That would be awesome. Name generator, smoke with Snoop. Dude, that would be crazy. Hey, I'm going to read some here in the beginning, but just to let you guys know, in case you weren't here for the past couple, we're doing the thanks for gifters a little bit different now. We're trying to segue to a structure where we read names and thank people once goals are met, to try to make sure we're at least being a little bit cleaner structure-wise, but it's going to take some time to get used to. So, while we're on our way there, I am going to sprinkle some in here as we go. So, let me scroll up to the top here. Holly Elizabeth, Sarah Jane, Michelle, Heather, Olivia Marie, Labuc Dragon, Vicky Ann, Chris, Olivia Marie again, Annette Madron, April, Olivia Marie again, April, Annette Madron, Oro T. Bird, Olivia, Frankie J's Mama, Kelly McMillan, KJ8995, Olivia again, Honey Bear again, Zool123, Frankie J's Mama is in the house here, Dylan Sprague is in the house, Echo Lawrence, Jennifer, Angel, good to see you here, Janine, Lacey Lex, A Flower, Michelle, Carol, good to see you there. Speaking of Carol, we have a Discord now. There is if you go to Linktree, you can find our Dusty Thunder Discord, and also we're part of a Live Creator Hub Discord now as well. Krista Museum Girl, good to see you there. Sophia, Michelle, Carol, Janine, Piotr, Michelle, Heather, Sarah Jane, Carol Jaworski, Sveja. Thank you guys so much. Greatly appreciate that. We will be trying to stick to doing more of thanking when we hit goals. So we're going to try to get that direction there. Olivia, travel as much as possible once Sin has grown up. He's 9 currently. Yeah, traveling with young kids is tough. We tried a little bit whenever Navy Thunder was even younger, and it was tough. Athena, thank you so much for the love. Greatly appreciate that. Take Gotham to the moon, Angel. That would be awesome. We are going to steal the moon. First of all, you can't prove that I did do that. But when I did do that, I did give it back. Third month, Piotr, that's awesome. Jess, you rock your Ascon shirt every day? Heck yes. We're working on sourcing some sticker packs or some business cards for DFHB stuff. We're trying to work on some DFHB stuff that you guys can actually have stacks of to people to hand out. Watch fireworks from a boat, Candy. I can tell you from experience, it is awesome. Wait, I don't think I was on a boat. Tony Spark has done that a bajillion times. It was when I was a kid too, and we were in like a lodge, but we saw them on the lake, and it was super cool. My story grew. Heck yeah. Dreadzone, if Elon is successful, you want to retire to Mars? That would be wild. Yes, I think at least everyone here survived the emergency alert. We done did it. All right, let's rock and roll, folks. Let's get going here. Welcome to today's stream. Lady of Oz just subscribed for month one. Welcome to the Gosh Heckin' Fam. Glad to have you here. We want to know what the number one thing on your bucket list is when we're in intermissions with confetti, so be sure to let us know that. Coming up, we have stories about travel drama, family traditions, concert ticket scams. I said that weird. Concert ticket scams, roommates drama, unhappy bachelorettes, a crazy girlfriend spicy story, cat drama, and more cake than the Little Debbie factory. So stay tuned. The first goal, of course, is 2K bolts to get Candy Thunder up here. Our like goal for today is 800,000 to make sure that you're tapping on the screen and sharing the stream with your friends. Make sure you hit up our link tree, which is linked in the bio, to subscribe to the YouTube channel or even become a member. We have about an hour's worth of content exclusive for those YouTube members coming out every week. One of them that I'm working on right now is a really, really cool, really elaborate story to fall asleep to that I'm writing myself. No AI help, no nothing. Writing it all out myself. And it's going to be wild whenever I finally get it done. It may end up being audiobook worthy. It's just taking a life of its own. We'll see what happens. The new Dusty Thunder podcast episode with special guest Bearded A, or as I introduced him, Bearded Thunder, aka our good buddy James and my brother-in-law, is now out on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Go check that out. It turned into the Two Grumpy Old Men podcast. Just the way it happened. And don't forget, today we have this going on. Wheel of Thunder will be happening today at the end of today's live in the VIP live. Are we doing it in VIP? We're doing, okay. We'll keep it in VIP. I don't think Tony Sparks going to be with us in the VIP live today, so it's going to be Candy and I rocking that out. At the end of the public live today, the top 10 gifters and 2 new members of the Storm, 2 existing members of the Storm will go on the Wheel of Thunder. We'll be spending for the sticker prize pack, but also I think we have one more Ask on Scale poster that will be signed by the entire team to give away as well. Remember, though, do not feel obligated or pressured to gift. The gift goals and rewards are all for fun. This is all for entertainment. We appreciate every like, share, comment, and gift, so don't ever feel obligated to send gifts. Never, ever, 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 ever do yourself financial harm in order to gift to us. You take care of you and yours first. And as I mentioned earlier, we will be trying to thank gifters once we hit goals instead of throughout. That's going to take some getting used to, so we're going to gradually work our way into that process. Also, as a reminder, no spoilers today, please. If you're caught spoiling, you will be muted. If you've heard the story, you know how it ends, just hold it in. Just hold it in so everyone else can enjoy it. We greatly appreciate that. And I think we're ready to get rock and rolling here. We're at 80% of our gift goal to get Candy Thunder up here. So let's check it out. Yeah, check it. I stole Candy Thunder's shirt today. In my red era with the Chiefs gear. And in my defense, it's we were already Chiefs fans and Taylor fans, so this is just serendipitous. It's just serendipitous. Heather, you want more of the stories to fall asleep to? We're trying. We're getting them written. We have several being written in the background that we're trying to make longer and more elaborate and better stories so that maybe they can take on a life of their own. Alyssa, you bought the same shirt. That's awesome.
It's so soft.
It is soft. However, Candy Thunder is going to get the shirt back with some pit stains in it. Sorry about that. I'm sweating it up. It happens. It happens. All right, we're going to dive into our very first story today, and it is actually an update for the story that posted today. We found out after posting it that there is an update for it, so we're going to rock and roll with it, and by the time we get that done, it's probably going to be time to get Candy Thunder up here to help give some feedback for it. Y'all ready? Let's do it. Little Sarah, yes, we do take follower submissions. We, in fact, have several of them being read today. You can submit your story at dusty-thunder.com or at the Dusty Thunder subreddit. If you want quicker feedback, I'd say go the subreddit route. Let's rock and roll. Today's story is an update for the story that posted today. The original story was, Am I the Astronaut for thinking about divorcing my husband for cheating on me with cake? Had to make sure I was recording. I am. I hope you've seen that video. If you haven't, you're going to have to watch it after the live, so all this makes sense. Okay. Uh-oh. Candy Thunder, you're clicking around in the story I'm about to read. What's going on? I need to calm down. Punny. Here we go. Update number 1. Hello all, thank you for your kind comments on my post. I'm not sure why it got taken down, but I'm still amazed with the amount of commenters and support that I have received. I have been spiraling so much and life has gotten crazy. I went and got tested the day after I confronted my husband about Cake. Yes, to those of you who are inquiring about the name, Cake is not her actual name, but the name she uses for transactional relationships. That's a way to put it. I tested positive for something, unfortunately, but it's easily fixable. I've spent a lot of time trying to clear my mind and get my mental health straightened out. I took the week off of work so I could have a moment to breathe and talked to my mom about everything. We aren't very close, but it was helpful. I still haven't spoken to my husband, but I plan on doing so later today. We're going to get everything out in the open and discuss what our next steps are. I do think I'm going to ask for a divorce. To everyone that said I was being emotional, words are hard. To everyone who said I wasn't being emotionally available in the comments, you may be right. I am in the wrong. But when these things happen, I become detached and cannot help it. I still don't think that justifies cheating, even if it's a transactional relationship. When we got married, we promised each other through thick and thin we would support each other, and that promise was broken. I have nothing against the woman he cheated with. She was just doing what she does for a living. It wasn't emotional. It's my husband I have an issue with. I have some negative feelings, but that's mine and my husband's problem. I may update again after our conversation. Thank you. So before we dive into update 2, this brings up an interesting question. Angel, yeah. No, using Cake as your stage name, that's sacrilege. Yes, agreed. I agree. However, this brings up an interesting question. Do you think it's, if someone cheats, do you think it's better that it was a transactional cheat, or is it worse, or is it just the same? Like, does that make it any better? It kind of sounds like from OP's perspective here that it being transactional makes it not as bad as like romantically falling in love with someone. I don't know. Melissa Baker, welcome to the Gosh Heckin' fam. Glad to have you here. By the way, we have a goal of 575 today, and we did achieve the Bolts goal. I'm going to go ahead and thank these people before we read update 2 here, and then we'll plan on having Candy Thunder come up and give some feedback for the story after we get through that update here. Let's go ahead and thank some folks for helping us hit this thing. Michelle, Heather, Jenny, Sue, Olivia, and Sons. We've got CAO, don't know how to say the name. CAO Driscoll author. How do you say that? CAO. CAO Driscoll author? You'll have to help me with that, man. Let me know how to pronounce it, and I'll try to remember it. Candy Thunder, Mungal, Shawnee, E-Take Johnson, Ashley Page, Amber 44, Sarah Richardson, The Rindalin, Sir Gotham Knight, Zool 1980, Dylan Sprague, Brittany Bella, Piotr L7777, Oro T Bird, Heather 0926, Kelly McMillan, Annette Madron, Armaniacal, Shaz 5951, Justin Etheridge, Julie Jules, Lacey Lex, KJH, Proud PCT. We got Snowman Collector, Fairies Dust 88, NB the G, Wonderfully Wonky, Lynn's 94, Kristen Museum Girl, and Tony Spark. Thank you guys so much for helping us get there. We greatly appreciate that. Let me get the next one set up right quick. This one is going to unlock something fun and different. We're doing something different, y'all. This is going to unlock a cat story. Yes, we got tagged. Apparently there's a cat, AITA. We got tagged in it today, and we found a story to include today as a reward. So we have a cat story for you. We have 3K cat paws as our goal right now, and it will unlock a cat AITA story. Would it be like, Am I the Ass Cat? Or something like that. I don't know. Cats show you their beeholes all the time. It's like they walk around flaunting those things. Don't talk about that? Okay, I get that. Don't talk about it. Got it. There's things that we don't talk about, and that's one of them, apparently. Sorry. My nose is very runny today. I got my tissue here. So if I lean out of frame, that's what I'm doing. You didn't need to know that. Okay, update number 2. Here we go. My husband has been cheating on me for almost a year and a half. I found out after snooping through my husband's phone that he had been cheating on me with a woman who he called Cake. It was transactional, and he was paying for some fun behind my back. We had been going through a rough patch in our relationship, and I had been struggling with depression and had become reserved, so he felt detached and tried to blame his cheating on my mental problems. Earlier, we had our first conversation about it since he left to stay with a friend. I said we needed to lay out everything and be completely honest. Cake was not the first in a long line of women he has apparently been using. Oh, hang on. Cake was not the first in a long line of women he has apparently been using to fill his emotional needs that was created by my complete disregard of our marriage and his physical needs. All I could get out of him was that he slept with multiple different women and it has been going on for a while. When I told him that I got tested, he said that he knew he had contracted it in the past and never told me. Okay. I know I should have thrown some flags earlier in the story, but this one particularly for him not telling her. It wasn't even a year ago we had discussed maybe having a baby. He has apparently been going out and getting with all sorts of women like this, partying with people I do not know, and has been taking painkillers. This is not the man I married. I'm completely shattered emotionally. I asked him for a divorce and he told me I was being manipulative by trying to make him seem like the bad guy when I'm the one who caused it all. I know he is gaslighting me, but I feel there is some truth to what he is saying, as some of the commenters on my previous post have also mentioned. I'm devastated and my life is in ruins, but I'm going to try and pick up the pieces and power on because that's all I can do. He left the house again in a tantrum, slamming the door and knocking a couple of picture frames down. Well, that tells you quite a bit. He's pretty upset about me wanting a divorce, but I can't see any other path out of this. What he did is irredeemable in my eyes. Thanks to all who commented nice things. I don't know if I'll update again. Here to give us some feedback on the story is the one, the only, Candy Thunder. Ladies and gentlemen, lightning bolts for Candy Thunder here. Hi there. Step right up to the plate here.
I think we're going to make a poll for you not to introduce me like that anymore.
She tells me not to every time. I really enjoy doing it. Do you guys enjoy the way that I introduce Candy Thunder like Michael Buffer?
I don't know who that is.
That's the, let's get ready to rumble.
Oh,
okay. That guy.
I don't like it. It hurts my ears. Okay.
You gave me like a hiccup sound at the end of that when you hit.
Promise I'm
that
not.
was funny.
I had to make it stop.
That's good content right there. So what do you think here? What do you think? What are your thoughts?
I think that this guy had the opportunity to talk to his wife or cheat, and he decided that paying for sex was the right call. I don't think he made this call because his wife had mental health issues happening. I think he made this call because he wanted someone to get his rocks off.
He wanted someone else to fill the void by filling their void.
That was too far.
Too far. Okay.
That's too far. Let's not go there.
Okay. So
I think he
Tony Spark over there shaking his head right now. I'm sorry. It was there.
A bottle of KY was cheaper.
I had
right?
to do it. Here's my deal is that he in this whole scenario never once thought about his partner. He was only thinking about his needs and having his needs fulfilled and blamed it on her not fulfilling his needs. It was never once about, I know you're struggling with this and I've tried to help. No. He didn't try to help at all. It was just hey, you aren't servicing me. I've got to be serviced every 3,000 miles. So I had to go to the quick lube to do it.
Yeah, the dumb ways to die trend. That's never going to die. I told Dustin that cheating was going to be on that list for him. If you want to figure it out,
it would never happen. And she says the same, and I'm like, yeah, because you want to live.
No, you're right. This guy never once thought about his spouse. He only thought about how she wasn't fulfilling his needs and felt he should just pay someone to do it. And I want to know if their funds are together or separate, because if they're together, he took her funds to pay someone to have sex with him. Right. And that is messed up.
It's all lopsided. The fact that they have much bigger problems going on than him doing what he did there. Like their entire relationship is lopsided where he does not care about her needs or her problems at all.
Right.
And the gaslighting is bad enough that OP believes a little bit of it. Because some commenter said the same thing too. You're not emotionally available. Well, look, in my understanding from the original story, Opie's doing everything that she can, assuming this is a she. But
he's not getting emotional anything from the women that he's seeing.
Right.
He got an STI and brought it home to his wife and didn't tell her about it, knowing that he could have, I don't know. This guy is... And
they were talking about having kids, and he didn't bring anything up then.
No, and he could have destroyed her ability to have kids by not telling her that he infected her with the sexually transmitted. No. This guy only cares about himself.
So the original question was, am I the astronaut for thinking about a divorce because of this? And as we addressed in the original video, thinking is like feeling. You can't be an asshole for thinking about that.
No, but she's an asshole to herself for not divorcing this guy whenever he wasn't there to meet her needs for having mental health issues. Like, we all go through shit. We all go through times where life gets really hard and you have intrusive thoughts and you're down on yourself. And the one person that's supposed to be there and supposed to be part of your team decided to go out and take your money and screw somebody else. No, you're the asshole to yourself for not divorcing him sooner. She should have stepped up and walked away.
You think it's a complacence thing that has kept them together to this point?
I think that keeps a lot of people together that should be apart. We just Tony and I read a story, and they should have walked away from each other 20 years ago, but they're in it because they don't want to. It's easier to stay in it than it's harder to divorce.
Change is tough, right? Oh, but pain creates change. So it is right. It is a matter of, is this enough pain to create change? I see you, Tony Spark. Hey, yep. We met our cat paw's goal. We're going to unlock that story here. So to the original question for OP here, am I the astronaut for thinking about divorce?
Ooh, Angie, I like that. An emotional support dog. Yes.
There you go.
That would give her way more support than this douchebag. 100%.
Miss Aline, a lot of escorts also act as therapists, but they are highly paid. And I could see that, where he could be emotionally venting, but...
Then go see a freaking therapist and talk to your wife. Don't meet with a sex worker and have sex with somebody and bring disease. He's not meeting with someone that's being his therapist if he's getting a sexually transmitted infection.
In the updates here, he stresses his physical needs. And I think that becomes pretty clear. And this is a lopsided relationship. There's a lot more going on than just this problem. This problem was the straw that broke the camel's back, if that's how the saying goes.
Right.
I've been around Candy Thunder so much I have to question myself when I say sayings, because I'm like, am I getting it halfway mixed up?
I messed up. It wasn't even a saying. I messed up a name earlier, and I combined White Fang and
light. Are you trying to White Fang me?
I said White Lightning.
Are you trying to White Lightning me?
That's what I said.
That's our version.
Caden Thunder should call his car because it's white. It should be White Lightning. And I was like, that's from somewhere. And I was like, oh no, it's White Fang.
He's trying to White Fang me.
Yeah, it's from
Go on, get out of here. Go. New Girl. That's a New Girl reference.
Parisa, not pregnant. They talked about having a baby. And this was while he was having all of these affairs. Okay. All right. We're moving on to the cat story.
We know that hubby, the cheater in this scenario, is an ASCOM one, and we know that he is a brozo as well. And to Candy Thunder's point, OP is a little bit of an asshole to herself for not taking action for herself earlier.
It's from White Lightning is from Greece.
There you go.
I knew it existed. Thank you. I even searched it, and there was a movie called White Lightning. I had never seen that movie.
So is it Greased Lightning?
I don't know. Maybe Ann and I are on the same wavelength.
Greased Lightning. Now it's White Lightning.
I don't know.
Maybe that is in there too. We'll see. Okay, let's go ahead and give some thanks for our Cat Paws people here. Wait. Nope. Ladies and gentlemen, Candy Thunder, thank you so much for coming up and offering your feedback here. Let's give some thanks for our Cat Paws gifters here, and we'll read that cat story, by golly. I have no idea what to expect here. It could be complete mayhem. We'll see what's going on. Galaxy 20 Wolf, Jenny Sue, Michelle Heather, Mungao, XST THX. I'm not sure. Is that supposed to spell a word? Because if it is, let me know and I'll say it next time. Kid Roscoe, Shawnee, Megs 5030, Amber 44, Southern Country, Unholy Tinker, Southern Bell 7272, Luna Bell. We've got Lady Stormfly, Terry Strachan, Mama Silver, Armaniacal, Dana Wise, Liz Rhodes, Tammy Lee, Darcy LC, Ashley Page, Mandy Craft, we've got Piotr, a shadow casted, NB the G, Simply Raiden, Sarcasm and Sage, Annette Madron, Oro T-Bird, Zool, 1980, Jenna Tuata, Julie Jules, Jill's Realm, Somehow I Manage, it won't show me the rest of the name there, but Somehow I Manage, we'll go with that. Jen G, Lady Robin, Lisi Lex, Jewelry Tsarina, Effulgent One, and Teeny Mom. Thank you guys so much for helping us reach that. We greatly appreciate your help with that. Let me kill our QOD here quickly. And our next one that we're setting up is going to unlock a Cake Story and Confetti. Or is it Cake Story and Luna now? Say it again. Oh, okay. Well, we may have to play some catch up on some confetti here at some point here. We can't shoot it off with Luna around because she will freak out, and we didn't drug her beforehand, so she's not ready. She ain't ready. I wasn't ready. How many of these do we have? Okay, got them. We, ladies and gentlemen, have 500 donuts as our goal to unlock a Cake Story and confetti. And also, we're at 20% of our like goal right now. We are at 548 of 575 of our subs goal right now as well. So we're rocking and rolling on all of that. Thank you guys so much for participating in all of this. You're awesome. We love it. Also, please remember, likes and shares are huge for us. We greatly rely on your shares to get in front of more people. So if you haven't shared yet, please consider doing so. Greatly appreciate that. Okay, so cat story time. I never knew this is a thing, but here we go. Cat story. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the cat reward story. The story is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Blowing Up on My Fiancé in Front of His Family for Getting My Daughter's Cat Out of the House? I, female 35, got engaged to my fiancé, Eric, male 37, 2 months ago. He moved in with me and my daughter, Zoe, female 13. Everything was going well till he started complaining about Zoe's cat, which is strange because the cat is so sweet and quiet most of the time, and so I had no idea what the issue was exactly. Anyways, he went from complaining about the cat to making demands about her. He gave Zoe a list of places the cat can or can't go, things she's allowed to touch, banned her from places like the kitchen and sofa, Zoe's favorite place to cuddle with her cat. Zoe showed me this list and I had an argument with him, telling him he needed to stop this because it was ridiculous. Okay, we'll do this for the list. He ranted about this being his house too and how he expects things to change after we get married. Another round of red flags for him. A few days ago, I was at work and got a call from Zoe crying, saying her cat wasn't in her room or in the house. I freaked out too and went home to look for her. Zoe and I looked for 2 hours before a neighbor of ours brought her and told us that words are hard. Zoe and I looked for 2 hours before a neighbor of ours brought her and told us that he saw Eric leaving her outside and getting in his car and leaving. I was surprised and quite angry. Zoe took her cat and went back inside. I immediately drove to my future in-laws' home where Eric said he'd be. The second I saw him sitting with his family, I went off and blew up at him in front of everyone. His mom asked what was happening, and I told her that her son got my daughter's indoor cat outside the house, probably hoping for her to get lost. He argued about wanting me to stop spouting nonsense and go home and we'd talk there, but I refused. It got worse and I ended up leaving after his family flipped out at him. Good, the family flipped out at him. He sent a bunch of texts talking about the stunt I pulled in front of his family. He said that he didn't mean to leave the cat out, but after checking the cams, I confirmed it. He still insisted that I humiliated him in front of his family and tried to turn them against him. He's been staying with a friend and has stopped calling and texting. Am I the astronaut for blowing up on him in front of his family? Hell no. We talk about this a lot. People who get exposed typically don't react well to getting exposed. And this whole "you didn't have to do this in front of my family" thing is just, he sees it as ammo, right? He's trying to gain any kind of leverage he can to be like, oh, you shouldn't have done it this way. Like, oh, it was an accident. Dude, there are cameras. You probably should have known that already. You should have known you were going to get busted in here. But this was just one small thing in this long list of bullshit that he's trying to force now. It's a package deal, man. First of all, when they started dating, like, it's a blended family, and that includes blending animals too. Like it or not, you're accepting everyone within this space, especially since he moved in with her. They got engaged 2 months ago. He moved in with me and my daughter, Zoe. He moved into her space, thereby accepting everything that went along with it there. Oh, I got an unstable internet connection message here. Ruh-roh. Hopefully that's got to be a TikTok thing. That cannot be your internet connection. I refuse to believe it. Refused it. Angel, thank you for the autumn leaves. I saw that. Created a pretty cool animation there. He accepted everything about this family that he was blending himself with whenever he decided to move in there and get engaged and continue this relationship. You don't get to just walk in the door and be like, things around here are about to change. There's a new sheriff in town. This cat, by the way, creating boundaries for a cat is about the dumbest freaking thing I've ever heard of. In a house, like, a cat is not allowed to go in this room. How do you plan to achieve that, sir? You're going to create some kind of wireless shock collar boundary thing, so if the cat tries to go in this room, they get shocked. Like, how are you going to explain to the cat and train the cat that it can't go in this room, can't sit on this, can't touch this? It is uber unreasonable. And for you, OP, this is a precursor. This is a preview to what married life is going to be. Unreasonable demands, unreasonable expectations. Throw him in the litter box. He's a turd. That's it. Not the asshole at all. We already did that. This guy, maybe I'm just throwing people to ASCON 1 too quickly here, but this guy's an ASCON 1. For acting this way, for trying to gaslight you, and for blowing up at him in front of his family as some kind of ammo to leverage here. It's all stupid. Even his family agreed with you, so yeah. He's an idiot. And also this. Because he pissed me off. That's it. That's it. Scoop him up and dump him in the trash. There you go. Shaz, you're right. It was the cat's home first. The cat lived there first. So good luck with that. Some animal personalities can be different and can be difficult for people to mesh with, but this wasn't that kind of case. It wasn't like the cat was doing anything. Maybe cat hair. Maybe that's what he really has an issue with. C.A. O'Driscoll, subscribe for the first time. Welcome to the Gosh Heckin' fam. Glad to have you here. We are over the halfway point on our donut goal right now. We are 26 away from hitting our sub goal, and we're at 26% on our likes goal here. Just giving you the numbers to check in here. All right, we're going to bounce over to our next one. Actually, what do you guys think about this? Elizabeth, I hope she dumped him. Christina, he made space for both of us in a studio. Oh, sorry. That must be an additional comment, or I'm missing the first one here. Sarah Sugar and Alex, thank you so much for sharing the live. Nisi, thank you for the share. Greatly appreciate that. You all are awesome. Sarah Liss, the fact that someone can do that to an animal and not feel bad says a lot about them. True. And this early in the relationship, too. It's like I don't know, like they got engaged and he immediately moved in. Hexica, welcome to your first live. Glad to have you here. Emily Louise, thank you for the share. User 777, lots of numbers with the follow. Thank you so much. Ben Ing, thank you so much for the share. Sinead O'Leary, Billy Castillo, thank you for the share. Greatly appreciate that. Carrie Ann Fisher, Logan Lehman, Anna, Heather Ray, the Effulgent One, Mabel Veras, Mage, Ann Ambracker, thank you for the share, guys. Greatly appreciate that. Self-aware Mama Bear, Cicely Kite, Sarah, thank you for the follow there. Autumn, Self-aware Mama Bear, thank you for the share. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Crystal, subscribe for the first time. Like the butterflies in the username there as well. Quick recap on the cat, Gabriella. They were engaged, have been engaged for 2 months. He moved in with Opie. Opie's 13-year-old daughter has a cat. He all of a sudden starts trying to enforce a whole bunch of rules, and then eventually intentionally lets the cat outside, which it's an indoor cat. Lets it outside and leaves, hoping that it would just run away. So, yeah. Hard case, Nova Scotia, Canada in the house. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Princess Heather, Totally Drab, Stella, Mario Jace, Bert, thank you guys, Renee, Liz, thank you guys for the shares and the follows. Greatly appreciate that. All right, we're going to dive to our next story here. It's our first official news story, right? Okay, so we got a follower submission here. Followers Follower OPs were notified with an email earlier today. So if you got an email and if this is your story, you know what to say to claim your story. Chat, let me know if you see OP in there. You guys do a great job of that. I greatly appreciate it. Griselda, Stephanie, Cody, thank you guys for the share. Charles, you as well. Basketball Mama, Stella, Melissa, thank you for the shares and the follows. You all are awesome. Okay, here we go. Our first follower submitted story of the day. This goes like this. Am I the astronaut if I just never travel with my mom again? Something must have gone awry. I, 48 female, am writing this on an international flight back from a trip with my mother, 71 female. We're returning from her first ever trip abroad, while I am an experienced traveler. We wanted to do this trip before COVID lockdown and had to cancel it, so she has been looking forward to it for years. But this may be the last one with her. As background, my childhood was emotionally neglectful, filled with manipulation and gaslighting. I essentially raised myself and had to learn the way of the world with patient romantic partners, friends, and therapists. Eventually, my mother and I found a balance in our relationship. I genuinely enjoy her at times, although she still drives me insane. She's needy, has zero accountability, and if you looked up weaponized incompetence in Wikipedia, you might find her picture under the heading. She has high anxiety and complains a lot. I can't rely on her for much if we are outside of her home or comfort zones, and she loves poking the bear inside me. Now back to present day, we just spent 10 days in Italy. Since I've planned 90% of everything we've ever done together, even when I visited her, I told her that if she wants to go on this trip to a place I have already visited, she has to take the lead. I would help guide, but I'm not doing it all. Well, she did take the lead, and it was hell. It's hard to describe all the exhausting moments. Shanna L., welcome to the Gosh Heckin' fam. Glad to have you here. In general, she acted like she didn't know how to do anything, how to connect to Wi-Fi, how to use GPS, call an Uber, what time we had to be anywhere, what city we were in, or where we were going the next day. Other issues include she had several tantrums yelling, "I don't want to do this," etc. when I asked her to figure out something, like where to go for dinner or how we were to get to the hotel from the train, etc. Whenever she needed anything, even ordering her own food, she turned to me to ask for her. She turned to me to ask for her, like a scared toddler. She generally is unwilling to handle things and just wants to be catered to or spoon-fed. She has ulcerated colitis and can't eat a lot of things, including dairy, but still kept having gelato. And then she proceeded to have blowouts all night, every night. Our rooms were small and our beds were at most an inch apart. She'd let out noxious gas literally toward my face all night and laughed about it when I asked if she could at least point her ass away from me or do it in the bathroom. I hardly got any sleep, constantly woken up by her getting up and running to the bathroom or blowing me away in the next bed. When I asked her if her meds were working, she said, "I forgot I can't have dairy." So for the rest of the trip, I had to keep telling her not to eat this or that for both of our sakes, since she wasn't capable of avoiding these things on her own. She kept walking into me because of the crowds. When I asked her to stop it, she said, "I'd rather walk into you than a stranger." I asked her, "Can you just not walk into anyone?" "I'll try," she said while laughing. She even knocked me over a couple of times. She has a bad habit of just walking off for no reason. No idea where she's going. She just takes off in some random direction. I had to call her back a few times or she'd go into traffic or be too close to the trains. It was like having a toddler. When I tried to guide her, I had to explain everything like 4 to 5 times and she still didn't get it. I usually just give up and take over. Twice we almost missed a tour because she got the times wrong. We missed our original flight back to the U.S. because she told the taxi the wrong airport. We, meaning she, had to buy us new flights. There were times when I wanted to step and take over the trip, but I was too exhausted. Also, just about every day I kept repeating the Dusty Thunder motto in my head. Pain creates change. I figured if she screwed up enough, she might step in. I figured if she screwed up enough, she might step up. I'm just at the point where I don't want to watch it in motion. She needs to experience the pain and the change on her own time. Here's where I feel a bit bad. My mother doesn't have anyone else to travel or do anything with. We live on opposite sides of California, and if she doesn't experience things with me, she doesn't at all. She has never had close friends, and her family won't join in unless she pays their way. My father is a cheap-ass buzzkill, and no one wants him around if you're trying to have a good time. And to just be more explicit, she's not independent and won't do things on her own. But it costs me a lot. Money, energy, sanity to travel with her. Plus, it triggers all of the childhood dynamics when I had to be on my own, when I had to be my own parent as well as hers. So am I the astronaut if I just never travel with my mom again? Is Opie here, by the way? Have we heard from Opie? Yeah, we've got some mixed feelings here too, chat. Now, okay. Yeah, we got a lot of mixed feelings. If Opie does show up, please let me know. So like Angel's sentiment here is Opie set mom up for failure. There's a lot of people who are saying in here, like H-Bear, I saw your comment that Opie was being insensitive and trying to force the mom to be the mom that they wanted growing up. That's possible. However, it kind of, Opie has this, the flip side of it is that I think Opie has this mentality of like a role reversal. Opie is being the parent in this, wanting to provide the experience for her, wanting to do something like that for her, but also trying to teach her a lesson along the way. I think the problem is at 71, how likely is that lesson to be received and retained? Like, how likely is behavioral change at 71? Is it too old at that point? I know people can change at any point in life, but at 71, like, I expect people to be pretty set in their ways. You know what I mean? I know a lot of sprightly 71-year-olds that are capable of learning anything new and changing behavior on a dime. But mom, if she already has these creature comforts where she likes her own space, she doesn't like to get out much, and she's not going to experience those things unless OP takes her and drives her to do it at her own cost and her own time and of her own energy. The additional cost with that is stuff like this. And I think that you're not an asshole for never traveling with her again. You were trying to do something nice, and it ended up being too taxing. But I think some of what you're running up against here is that you're trying to parent her, but you're trying to parent her to change. And yes, pain creates change. I think it probably takes a lot more drastic pain to change at 71. And that change probably has to be more urgent as well, because she gets back from this trip and she's like, well, I don't have to change anything because I'm never doing that again. She doesn't have to learn how to do these things because she's never going to do it again. I think that may be the mentality there. It's like she's not latching on. She's not receptive to change because she seems like she's not the type of person that's awfully receptive to change in the first place. But this is also like a once in a lifetime thing. She's probably not thinking she needs to build this skill set because she anticipates using it again in the future. And I think those expectations, when you are the parent, is different, because it's like, I'm preparing you for the world, child. I want you to, when you experience this on your own as an independent later on, at least have some kind of baseline, have some kind of skill set to work with here. The problem is that you can't apply that to your 71-year-old mom. And that, while I think you were well-intentioned here, created a friction that made the trip probably, I'm not going to say completely miserable, but largely miserable for both of you. I think if you do something with her again, I think you have to just accept that she's not going to change, right? She is who she is. You're not going to make her into something different. You're not going to be able to train her to behave a different way. You're not going to be able to teach her new skills. Just try to enjoy the moments that you can. That's it. And I think at the end of the day, that's really what you want to do too, right? You want to be able to provide her with some experiences that you can both find enjoyment in. If trying to train her to do these things and force her to take the lead kills that, then don't do that. And if you're willing to take the lead and do the work so that you can have those enjoyable moments, you're both going to be a lot happier at the end of this thing. Now, you're well within your rights to never travel with her again if you don't want to do all of the work, if you don't want to carry the load. But I think you have to identify what the main goal of this really was. What do you want? Identify that. And then think about, is it worth the cost? It's NTA. If you decide to never travel with her again, it's well within your rights. That's fine. It's NTA. You definitely could have approached this differently. That's not the question. So I'm not going to put you on the ASCON scale, because the question is not, were you an asshole with how you treated this trip? The question was, am I the asshole if I never travel with her again? No, you're not. You definitely could have done things differently on the trip. Rhodes, Opie didn't give up all authority. I think it was in certain things. There were certain things that Opie was like, okay, like, I don't want to do all the work. You've got to do this part. You've got to do this part. And when mom did take charge of those things, it was just a cluster F, which you would expect it to be, right? Insert sip noises. There you go. Vixen, that's a good idea. Travel local. Find some experience spots locally where you don't have to have the painful parts of all of this that you wanted, and just accept she's not going to change at 71. You're going to have to take the lead if you want to accomplish these things. Your mom's not going to change. Your mom's not going to be the mom that you always wanted her to be. Enjoy what you can. And if you can't enjoy it, don't do it. Lainey, take nature walks. There you go. Unless that would end up with your 71-year-old mom just bitching the entire time about having to be on this long-ass walk. Call that a Charlie Foxtrot. Caden Thunder is in the house. Hey, Fawn, good to see you there. Kristen says, I went no contact with my mom, never regretted it. If people just caused you pain, then yeah. Can't teach an old dog new tricks? You can, but only if they want to. Only if they want to. Where was that? Let me scroll back up. Autumn, you may be right here. And if we were talking about classifying, the level of assholery on the trip, it probably would be an everyone sucks here. But it wasn't the question, so I'm going to try not to dive in on that. I think you have to identify what you want, though, OP. Identify what it is that you really want, and then think about if you sabotaged yourself in this instance, and think about how you would have to approach it differently to really get what you want out of that experience. Angel, international travel with language barriers is not easy. I can imagine so. Unfortunately, I haven't done it. Faith, with us for month one as a member of the Storm. Glad to have you in the Gosh Heckin' fam. Age, good morning there in Australia. Glad to have you here. TLS, sounds like the mother might possibly be in early stages of dementia. Oh, with the behavior, like randomly. Yeah, okay. That could be possible. However, it sounded like a lot of the behavioral traits that OP described here said she's always been this way. So for those things that are new, sure. Casey HVAC 88, subscribe for the first time. Welcome to the Gosh Heckin' fam. Glad to have you here. We're at 460 of 500 on our donuts to unlock a cake story here, guys. We're super duper close. Resort would be best in my opinion, Jasmine. Oh yeah. Or a cruise, right? Same thing. It's like you go one place. You've got excursions and stuff. Cruise maybe not the way to go. You still have to do some planning, but if it was not an excursion based cruise where you just stayed on the boat and everything's right there, cool. At a resort like you're talking about here too, yeah, where you don't have to travel, it's just you go in one place and everything happens around you, cool. That would be the way to go. Casey HVAC, heck yeah. Where do you tailgate? We've gone to we typically are in Lot J. And I actually went up and filmed, so for the past 2 years I'm up there filming in Lot J for the home opener every year. Any vacation is planning. You're right. I mean, there's planning. But if the planning is just like go to this one place, and it would be less of a planning burden for OP if it was a resort or a cruise or something like that. The quality of our confetti cannons here has been a little bit off lately. And luckily, Luna's gone. So luckily, but it's coming out in just like big old pigtails like this and not like separating. No, one of these times it's going to come out as one solid clump and it's going to just nail me right in the head during a live. And it's going to be good content, but it could be painful. It could be. Yeah, Casey HVAC. I'm trying to scroll down and see if you answered there, but yeah, let us know where you tailgate at, and we'll make a note of it for the next game we go up for. Tony Spark is up there a lot. Dylan Sprague ran into him at the Bears game, Chiefs Bear game. He actually ran into to Ted, not Tony, Ted. I had a thought earlier too, and I was like, oh, we hit our donut goal. Heck yeah! I had a thought earlier too, and I was like, hey, Tony, if you're drinking wine, do you become Theodore? It's like a bougier version of Ted. I think that might be the case. Do you get like fancy? No. He said no. It's just Ted. It's just Ted with wine. It's just Ted with wine. I don't get fancy when I wait, Jesse says yes, he does become Theodore.
That is not true.
You walk around with your pinky out, dude. You become Theodore. Bougie. He gets bougie. Random thoughts. Okay, let's give some thanks for our donut gifters here. TLS, Journey, Michelle, Heather, Kay. Okay, you've told me how to say this last name before, and I'm going to butcher it. I'm sure I am. Siobhan? Kay Siobhan? Is that right? Kay Siobhan. AK Mary, Elise Newman, Galaxy 20 Wolf, CKNY79. We've got Shawnee, Heather Lynn, Princess Shannon, Mama Silver, Jenny Sue, Tammy Lee, TVD Fangirl, 1864, Fane 86, E. Tate Johnson, Heidi J, 1973, Just Heather 13. We've got that name I cannot figure out. Sale Driscoll author, CAO. I gotta figure it out, man. I gotta figure it out. We've got Totally Drab, Amber 44, Jade Sue, Vintage 80s Lady, Crystal Gilmore. We've got Somehow I Manage, Piotr L777, Christy Lynn, Dana Wise, Faith 1723, Ann Bracker, Darcy LC, Sir Gotham Knight, Monica Snake, Mungao, Nikki Davis, Justina Josfadzi, Zool 1980, Southern Country, Alaline, Nicaraguan Alma, Annette Madron, Jang 9921, Dylan Sprague. Hey, we just mentioned you, man. Boo 77 and Pink Pixie Dust. Thank you guys so much for helping us meet that. You've unlocked that cake story. We'll set up our next one here, and this one is going to get us Caden Thunder and confetti. Yeah, Candy Thunder took Luna with her to go pick up Ava Thunder from school, so that's why we could do the confetti. Those of you who might be concerned about the confetti going off, yeah. Luna was not around for it, thankfully. Okay, this one is going to be... We have 100 confettis to unlock Caden Thunder appearance and confetti. Sorry, it popped into that mic. Awfully difficultly there. Rejoice, Caden Thunder. Not an exclamation point, not a nothing. Just rejoice. It seems like a very Caden Thunder thing to do. A tall, dark fellow, dusty with wine is Dustin. I don't know. I'm not really a wine guy. I don't know. Cherry Blossom, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate that. Let me do a little bit of catch up here. We are again, we're kind of shifting the direction of thanking people after we hit goals, but I want to make sure that we at least get people who are mentioning those things. Tony Sparks sat down at the desk and just immediately sending confetti. Mary Piotr, Nikki Marjolaine with the crown. Thank you. Darcy Silver. We'll try to stick to non-gift goal related things. Honey Bear with the It's Corn. Tanya with the rose. Greatly appreciate that. Liz Rose, you sent your first gift of the donut. Thank you so much for sending that. Greatly appreciate that. Kristen James with the fire. Tanya with the heart me. Greatly appreciate that, guys. You all are awesome. All the confetti coming through here. Cherry Blossom with the heart me as well. You guys are awesome. Someone was asking about the ASCON scale. Maybe a good time for a refresher by my sign name. Good idea. Let's do that real quick, and then we'll dive into our cake story. Cake reward story number 1 that you've unlocked here. So, the ASCON scale. is the scale that is modeled after the U.S. military's DEFCON scale of the severity of asshole in the story. So ASCON 4 is the least amount of asshole. ASCON 1 is the most severe asshole. There is nothing past ASCON 1. And, DEFCON 1 is like nuclear war. It's worst case scenario. So ASCON 1 is worst case scenario. There is nothing past that. So we use these 4 categories to identify how big of an asshole someone was, because yes, we could say you're an asshole, but you can be in ASCON 4 where it's just simply could have done that differently, and you're still technically on the ASCON scale. You're not a huge asshole. You're not a severe asshole, but you are a little bit of one. ASCON 3 is you should have done that differently. ASCON 2 is you definitely should not have done that. And ASCON 1 is you're a terrible human being. Worst case scenario. So we use this scale to classify people along the way. We also have NTA, which is not the Astronaut. We have ESH. Everyone sucks here. We have Brozo, which is pretty self-explanatory, but it's a bro who's a bozo. So we've got those two. We've got a couple other different things like petty confetti and that kind of thing, but it's just all part of the brand that we use as off scale. Nikki Davis, yeah, a lot of people say that we need something past ASCON 1. Here's the problem. We've hit some pretty terrible people in the stories that we've covered, and we've hit them with ASCON 1. So if we start adding things to the scale, now we've got to go back and retroactively reclassify all these people. Can't do it. It's 4 through 1. It is what it is. Now we can add things onto that, like Brozo, like these different classifications we can add to them. So I think that's the path we're most likely to take there. Pure evil. I forgot about Hozo. You got it right. We do need a Hozo. Let me make a note. I forgot about it. We're in Missouri, Super Bling Mama. We're in Southwest Missouri, just a couple hours from KC. Between KC and Northwest Arkansas. Hozo. We need a design. We got to get that thing kicked off. Heck yeah. Tyke, can you be an ASCON 1 and a Brozo at the same time? Yes, and that's what I mean by you can be on the ASCON scale plus have different additional classifications that are stacked on top of it. David, do OPs ever see your videos and reply? We have had a couple. So we've had a lot of our stories are follower submitted, which is great. And when they are, sometimes OPs are in chat and will give us additional information, or they'll send us updates or do that kind of thing. So, but yeah, we do hear from some. If they're not an OP, we have heard from a couple that are Reddit stories where OP will reach out or show up in chat. So, or in comments whenever we post a video. It's not super common though. 50% of the live goal is completed here. We're over 50 for our confetti already. Let me get that cake story knocked out here, and we may be ready for the Caden Thunder appearance after that. All right, here we go. Cake Rewold story number 1. This is a follower submitted cake story. And it's titled, Am I the Astronaut for Preferring Another Man's Cake? Let's hope we're talking about actual cake this time and not the cake that was the subject of the story from the post today and the updates we read at the beginning of the live. Let's hope that's the case. I, 41 male, am what people may consider a picky eater. Mostly every meal consists of chicken and bread, pasta or rice in some form. So I can't get out of my head the whole cake theme from earlier, and now it's when OP says I'm a picky eater, I'm like, okay. Mostly every meal consists of chicken and bread, pasta or rice in some form. I like very few fruits or vegetables, and I'm not really even a fan of desserts of any kind. My partner and I have been together for 5 years, and he knows how picky I am. He is more adventurous in his eating ventures, but we have learned over the years how to shop and cook in ways that satisfy both of our tastes. My birthday was a few weeks ago, and my partner decided to try to recreate a cake for me that I had a very long time ago. The backstory here is that when I was in my 20s, I was in a relationship with a pastry chef. Like I mentioned before, I'm not really a fan of desserts, but my ex, many years ago, developed his own recipe for the best cake I ever had in my life. He made it for me only a couple of times before we split up, and I do not have the recipe myself. I have told my current partner about the cake, and we have talked about what might be in it or how we might try to make it, but honestly, neither of us are very good in the kitchen, and we really don't know where to even start. So my partner worked really hard for about 2 or 3 days to make this cake. He made multiple trips to the store, baking and trashing multiple cakes before finally ending up with something he deemed presentable to me. Remember, he had never tasted the cake my previous partner had made, so he was basically flying blind and basing all of his ideas on my own description of the taste and what I suspected the ingredients may be. On the evening of my birthday, we ordered in Chinese food and had dinner together at our apartment. He then proudly cut us each a big slice of cake. I admit the cake looked good. It looked remarkably similar to the original, and I was impressed with its appearance. But then I took a bite. The cake was not good. I'm sure that to anyone who actually likes cake, it might have been fantastic, but to me, it was terrible. So terrible that I could not hide my disgust and spit the whole bite back out onto my plate. I told my partner how much I appreciated him trying, but that I just did not like the cake at all. No! There's more to the story, but I have to... Can we just take a moment? Can we just take a moment of silence for this cake? And this guy, poor dude, works so hard. This is semi-relatable because Candy Thunder's taste buds since COVID have been way off, and things that used to taste great to her don't anymore. And if I get her something that she used to love and now is just like, bleh, like I get it. I get it. You just don't like it. It's fine. So let's see how he takes it. He was actually quite offended that I refused to even swallow a single bite. He reminded me of how much work he had put into getting this cake just right, and said that I should have at least eaten a slice and pretended that it was close to the cake I had before, since he knew how much time and effort he'd put into it. But I disagreed. That lying about how I felt about the cake would have been the right move. But I disagreed that was the right move. Okay, I get it. But I disagreed that lying about how I felt about the cake wouldn't have been the right move. I don't blame him for not getting it right. I mean, he's not a chef and he didn't even have the recipe or even really know what flavor he was trying to create. It was an impossible thing for him to do, really. And I did and do truly appreciate the effort he made. I simply preferred the original cake from many years ago, and I do not feel like I should pretend to like something I just don't, to spare someone's feelings, even his. Am I the astronaut for simply preferring another man's cake? Hey, we're at 76 and 100 on those confettis already. Look at you all go. Okay, so we've got some mixed reviews in here as well. Like Amanda says, she could have swallowed that bite at least. Jasmine, the poor man, he was trying. Opie crushed his little baking heart. Mandy, but he tries to do his hardest. Let me go back to Honey Bear. Mono did that to you. Everything had a saccharine aftertaste. That sucks. You force it down when someone tries that hard. Okay, so dude, this is something that I think people have differing opinions on. I'm putting myself in his shoes because Candy Thunder has a very unique palate right now. Here's the deal. He knew up front she didn't really like desserts. He knew up front that this was a risk, and he accepted that risk when he took this upon himself. She didn't ask him to do it. He decided to do this himself, and he accepted this risk. In my opinion, OP made the right move here. Because if it were not reversed, but in my situation here, if I made something for Candy Thunder that she just absolutely despised, like couldn't stand, it tasted horrible, and she pretended to like it, guess what? I'm going to make that cake more often because it's something she actually enjoyed. Then she's got herself locked into this pattern where she has to choke down something that tastes not just not great, but terrible to her. And I think being upfront and honest here, and again, she's showing appreciation for all the hard work he put into it. That doesn't mean she has to pretend that it hit the mark. He knew what he was taking on here. The dude who made this thing years ago was a pastry chef. And this guy's average Joe trying to recreate it. Yes, he worked his butt off. It didn't work. That sucks. I get it. It sucks bad. You accepted that risk when you began this quest. And I would personally be more offended if somebody lied to me about it than if they told me the truth. Jocelyn, don't lie, but spitting it out. Okay. So I think we would have to see like footage of how this spitting it out actually went, because if it tasted as bad as OP said it tasted to her, and that's the kicker here, to any normal person, any dessert loving person, this might have been a great cake. I'm sure he tasted it himself and thought it tasted great. To her, it just doesn't. It just doesn't. And you can't fault her for her palate not accepting that kind of thing. And if we know anything about the hundreds of stories that we've read with similar food situations here, when someone has a strong dislike for something, it could be an allergic thing. It could be that their body just doesn't accept it. It could be 100 things. But yeah, OP could be the asshole for how they spit the cake out. If it was a like grab a napkin and be like, I'm sorry, I can't. How that was treated could make them an asshole or not. But just not saying that they not lying about it. No, not an asshole for that. And the question here is, am I the astronaut for preferring another man's cake? No. It's your palate. I don't think you can control your palate. Can you? Can you train your taste buds? Maybe you can. Bella, you think the whole plan was just a bad idea? Agreed. He accepted the risks. And then to get butthurt about it, I understand being deflated. I understand being disappointed. But this would be like two teams going to the Super Bowl and both working really hard, and one being like, oh, you got to say I won because I worked really hard. You know how hard I worked. It's not like that. Like it doesn't change the outcome. You accept the risks whenever you start the quest. Rose says she misses her ex-boyfriend. Let's hope that's not the case. I mean, if this ties back to being somehow related to that, yeah, there's a very strong likelihood that she approached this in an assholey way. But for this black and white scenario here and how she handled it, not lying about it, for the question, preferring another man's cake, no. It's a weird question to ask with this story. I think there's a lot of other things to ask here, but for that specific one, Gabby, I feel like he's more upset that the cake they like is from an ex. Yeah, well, he was a freaking pastry chef, dude. Again, you knew the risks whenever you started it. You would have to go become a pastry chef and then try to reverse engineer this thing. Or just try to get the name from your girl here and hunt this dude down and be like, hey, I'm sorry, I know this is weird, but can you give me that recipe? It'd be funny if that's what he actually did and he made the same thing and then she had this reaction. That would be crazy. Plot twist. What'd you say? Poor cake. It was so young. Dread Zone. Angel, the cake recreation was his idea. It was his idea to try to do this, and he worked days on it, and he poured his heart and soul into it. I get it, but he accepted the risks when he was like, yeah, I can do this. Mary Monet, thank you for the lemon buddy. Teresa, thank you for the heart me. Savannah for the heart me as well. Melissa Baker, your first gift, a confetti. Thank you so much. Liz Rose with the love you. Appreciate that. We are about there on our goal. Michelle, Mary with heart me and the Rosa. Greatly appreciate that, guys. Charlotte with the tiny Diney. Chelsea with the heart me as well. Angie with the rose. Thank you so much. Our confetti gifters, we will get to here shortly. 84-100 on that right now. Yeah, Angel, it was his idea. She's NTA. Now, again, this is something people have differing opinions on, and that's completely cool. We're not going to agree every time on everything. That's what makes us unique individuals, and that's a good thing. Caden Thunderby, you're trying to tell me something? No? Okay. Oh, he's on deck. He's up there. He's got his bat. He's taking practice swings. He's on deck. He's ready. He's ready to be unlocked here. Okay, while we're on our way there, I'm going to go ahead and bounce to our second follower-submitted story, non-cake story here. Opie is man? Sorry, I got all this screwed up. 41 male. Yeah, you're right. Okay. I don't know why I screw that up every time. Yeah, Opie is a male. Doesn't change a damn thing about the story. Whenever the partner decided to take on this quest, he accepted the risk. That's it. In my opinion, What does Candy think? Candy's off on her adventure right now. She's not back yet. Bean confetti, and there you go. Jocelyn, thank you. Glad to have you here. Glad to have you here. I still think, partner, hunting down this dude and being like, hey, can I get that recipe? Like, why not? There's less risk involved with that than there is with trying to recreate it from scratch, and a lot less work, too. She's on her own quest right now. Yes, that's right. Rez, oh, good to see you here, though. All right, let's dive into our next story. We're at 89 to 100 of those right now. We're at 55% of our likes goal right now. We're rocking right along. Our second follower submitted story here. And Opie, if you're in chat, you know what to say. Guys, let me know in chat if you see Opie. This story is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Asking My Brother's Girlfriend to Pay Rent? So my brother, Alan, 24 male, has lived with me, 25 female, for about 2.5 years. During his whole time of living with me, I never once asked him for rent or to pay any other bills. Our mom also lives with me, and I wouldn't dare ask her for rent, so I thought I'd do the same for my brother. Fast forward to a month later when Alan asked to talk with me. He then proceeds to ask me if his girlfriend can move in because she has nowhere else to go. Before I even give him an answer, he mentions she will be paying rent while she's here, so I agreed. Later that same day, he brings her to my house along with all of her things. As they walk through the door, I notice that she has 2 kids with her, ages 3 and 4, both boys. I ask my brother about it, but he tells me he forgot to mention that she has kids. Okay, hold on. Can this person live here? They're going to pay rent, sure. It's not just her. That's a surprise. So the first few days of my brother's girlfriend and her kids living here were okay, but after a week, I started to really get upset. I noticed they would leave the kids alone all day in the living room, so basically no one would be watching them. So when I'd come out of my room, I'd walk into the living room to see the kids hanging on to my curtains, melted ice cream all over my brand new couch, pooped in diapers on the floor, food on the floor, and toys everywhere. Now my living room is always a disaster. My brother or his girlfriend didn't clean up after the kids, so me or my mom end up having to clean up the mess. Those aren't my kids, so I don't feel like it's okay for me to tell the kids what to do, but I lost it when one of the boys was eating chicken nuggets and for some reason decided to throw it across the living room. I immediately told him to pick it up, but he screamed, "No, you pick it up!" So I don't know what else to do. Also, the food that they kept throwing onto the floor and everything they eat is all food I buy myself. I didn't mind them eating food that I bought, but every time I go to get something to eat, I find most of it halfway eaten on the floor. At this point, I'm upset. So 2 weeks later, when it's time for rent, I ask Alan for his girlfriend's share of the rent. He then tells me that the rent is between me and his girlfriend, and it doesn't involve him. So if I want the rent, I can ask her myself. Ooh. Way to handle that situation there, dude. So I asked her for the rent, which, by the way, I only asked for $300 to cover her share of the rent. I pay $2,500 a month for rent, so I thought that was reasonable. She told me that she didn't know she would have to pay rent, but she would have it for me next week. She knew. Well, the next week passed and I got nothing from her. I asked Alan what's going on and he tells me she lost her job and wasn't going to be able to pay any rent. He then gets upset and tells me not to ask her again because she was going to get mad at him for me doing so. Well, it's been 3 months and I haven't gotten anything from them, just excuses. I brought up the rent again yesterday because I just got cursed out for bugging about the rent again, which made me feel... Oh, wait, hang on. I brought up the rent again yesterday, but just got cursed out for bugging about the rent again, which made me feel like I was wrong for even asking them for rent, which makes me wonder if I'm the astronaut. Question here is, am I the astronaut for asking my brother's girlfriend to pay rent? Your brother agreed on her behalf to pay rent, but either didn't communicate that to her or did, and she just changed her mind once she moved in. And I think the likely scenario that's playing out in my head is they talked about it, maybe even planned on it. Maybe in the beginning it was innocent, but when she moved in and realized that, hell, they've got food, they got a roof over their head, they've got internet, they've got everything they need. She's like, Suddenly, the urgency and need to work is just disappearing from me. I don't think she lost her job. I think she quit because she had a place to stay and didn't need to work for anything. And you, sir, are just getting drained by everyone. You've got an entire house full of freeloaders, and the fact that they don't even watch the kids, they just let them run amok and have no consideration for cleaning things up or not destroying things in the first place. I think you got to kick all of them out. Your ma can stay. Everybody else goes. Everybody. Your brother, especially, because he knew what was going to happen. He lied to you. He's allowing this to happen. He is showing just as much disrespect for you as everybody else in this scenario. They all need to go. Give them a timeline. You don't have like a rent agreement here. You got a verbal agreement for her to pay rent in the beginning. I don't know if that's going to hold up for anything, but you need to provide a written document at this point. Hand it to them that gives them X days notice. 30, 60, 90, whatever you want to do. Make it official. Get an attorney involved if you need to. You got to get rid of them. They're not going to stop. You're not going to receive rent. Everything you own will be destroyed, and this is not going to end well. Stop it now before it gets to that point. You are not the astronaut for asking for rent. That is the smallest. You wouldn't be the astronaut for kicking them out either. And pain creates change, right? How much pain is enough for you to kick them out? How much? When they set something on fire, when they break your flat screen TV, when they smash your car window out, what? How much pain is enough? Ooh, hide the valuables before you boot her, C.A. O'Driscoll says. That's a darn good idea. Jocelyn, especially since he pays $2,500 and only asks for $300. Yeah. And Embracker, Caden, get up there, buddy. Hey, we're there. Let me give some thanks for this real quick. I keep popping in the mic when I go to the side. Sorry. I'll try to keep a closer eye on that. TLS Journey, Michelle, Heather, Christy, Lynn, 360, Yarn Garden Co., Josh Inagami, Just Heather 13, Darcy LC, AK Mary, Faith 1723, Flower Girl 77, Tony Spark, K. That one got me. You got me that time. I pooped a little. I'm going to need Caden Thunder to take over the camera for a bit so I can go change my pants.
It's in my shirt.
Siobhan, right? K. Siobhan. It's everywhere. It's just everywhere. Megan in a box 3, Chelsea Stevens, Heather Reagan, Pam K, Lacey Lex, Joss VP, Ghosts 1022, Piotr. We've got Theo Driscoll Author. I'm gonna get it at one of these points. Mandy Craft Ballroom. We've got Julie Jules, Totally Drab, Dylan Sprague, A. Alaline, Berlioz. Outdoor Girl 2426. We've got Chanya Marie, Ansco Automotive, Ann M. Bracker, Nikki Davis, Annette Madron, Jay Vasquez, Somehow I Manage, Mama Silver, Sir Gotham Knight, and Soapy Socks. Soapy Socks? That's a new one. That is a new one. Let me get the next one set up here, and then we'll bring Caden Thunder up. He already got the confetti done. You did surprise me. Our studio's downtown. There's an ambulance barn like half a block down. We get a lot of that. We get to quite a bit of it. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Let's get the next one set up. The next one is going to unlock a spicy story and a Candy Thunder appearance. Heck yeah. Got it. Spicy story and Candy Thunder. There we go. Okay. I have 2K fires set up to unlock the spicy story and Candy Thunder here. So, this, let me get back to the story that we were just on. And that one was Am I the Astronaut for Asking My Brother's Girlfriend to Pay Rent? Yeah. I think we hit some finality there. So, Caden Thunder, my question to you is, Do you want to jump up and give feedback on this story, or do you want to read the next one and give feedback on that? Or do you want me to read the next one and you give feedback on it? The next one is, am I the astronaut for ending a family naming tradition by not giving my son my late nephew's name as his middle name, even though my sister has said she wants me to? Deal. Okay. Caden Thunder's going to give feedback for this one after I read it. So our next story today is from the AITA subreddit, and it is, as I said, weird throat noises. Sorry. Am I the astronaut for ending a family naming tradition by not giving my son my late nephew's name as his middle name, even though my sister has said she wants me to? Okay. It's a family naming tradition. Got it. My family has always had this tradition where the first child born after the loss of someone in the family gets the late family member's name as their middle name. My sister and I both have those middle names. Hers is Patricia after a cousin of our mom's, and mine is Denise after my dad's aunt. That's right. I remembered to say aunt this time, not letting my Midwest show. It's an aunt. After almost a year ago, my sister lost her two-day-old son, Philip. Almost a year ago, my sister lost her 2-day-old son, Philip. He was the last family member we lost, and it was a huge, earth-shattering blow for our family. I found out I was pregnant a few months ago. I waited a while to tell everybody, and my sister was the first person we told privately. When I told her, she said it would be nice to have some positive news to focus on, and she wanted me to continue the tradition of our family, the tradition our family keeps, and give my baby, if a boy, the middle name, Philip. She was so happy about the idea. It surprised me a lot. I would have figured she would not be okay with it, but she wanted it. The problem is my husband and I do not want to continue with the tradition. We do not want to give our son the middle name Philip. The name isn't one either of us likes or would ever pick ourselves. We have not announced the sex of our baby yet, but my husband and I both know that we are expecting a boy. My family were saying how amazing it will be if my baby is a boy and Philip's name can be carried on. I suggested they wait until we announce the sex and the name before jumping to conclusions. They asked why, and I said we're thinking of not continuing with the tradition. My family, and by that I mean my parents mostly, were really upset. My sister was the worst, though. She asked why I wouldn't want to honor Philip and why it was him the tradition was getting broken on. She asked if I saw him as meaning so little, and I said no, of course not. Then she asked if it was his name and if we didn't like it. She said she really hoped it wasn't that. We didn't feel like the tradition was something we wanted to continue. The decision has brought up a lot of bad feelings, and my sister is especially angry and thinks I'm being insensitive and showing how little I care for my nephew. I feel terrible. She's so angry at me, and my parents are unhappy as well. My husband hates them for putting this pressure on us. He said we should be allowed to name our son what we want, and we should not be obligated to use a certain name. I never wanted to be an asshole, but my family believes that I am. Am I the astronaut? I don't think most assholes want to be assholes. I think they just are. This is tough, though. This is tough, Caden Thunder. You picked a doozy to give feedback to. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, to help us give feedback on this story, and I have a little magic trick that we're going to play today for him, is Caden Thunder. Caden Thunder! Okay, ready? Here we go. Here's the magic. Step up to the plate there, sir. It's your show. Look at that. It's magical.
What's up, Thunderkin? How you?
So what do you think about the story?
Oh, that was a doozy. I'm glad I didn't choose to read that one. Now I just have to give feedback on it. Man, how are you guys doing? How are you guys feeling? We are beans. Yeah, this is tough because I feel like I can see the point of view of both parties. It's a family tradition that they've carried on for a while, and it's something that just they've never brought up the idea of even not continuing before until this point in time, which I can see why the aunt would be upset, because she's going to feel Dusty got on my account and typed nice hair to me, myself. Thanks, Caden. Yeah, okay. OP and they didn't ask for the tradition. I don't think that they are Askenauts for not wanting to carry the tradition on. But at the same time, I can also see why the aunt would be or not the aunt. Who is it? Who is it that? Her sister. Okay. Her sister. I can see why her sister would be upset because for one, she's grieving right now. So she's obviously she's going through a lot. She lost her 2-day-old child, and that's something that's absolutely awful. And you're going to have negative feelings about things surrounding that. And I can see why she'd want to have their baby have the middle name as Philip, and yes, Dusty is my dad. Yes, for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Caden Thunder. I am Dusty Thunder's eldest son. I am the Kendall Roy of the Thunders. It's a Succession joke. What, did you make me say something else?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
No, other people are saying nice hair now. It's not me.
Oh, thanks.
I'm over here.
Thank you for the hair compliments. Appreciate it. Oh, no, not Kendall. Yeah, he's interesting. Yeah, I keep getting sidetracked. Sorry. Yeah, I think, I don't know. Everybody sucks here, but also nobody sucks here. I don't think that OP and the OP couple, I don't think they deserve to be put on the Askenaut scale because I don't think what they did is wrong. Maybe they could have done it a little differently, but honestly, I think the way they did it is perfectly acceptable, and I think there's just no way to get through that without having some pain. So it's, oops, scoop, skip, potato. I don't know.
What? Scoop potato?
Scoop, skip, potato. Jogato, Impractical Jokers.
I'm bring this back up so I can join you here.
Okay.
I think Tinker Truck, you said something that I think is a reasonable compromise here, and it's the 2 middle names, right? If you how often is someone's middle name going to be seen or used? It's
true.
Not going to be something that you use all the time. However, I think at this point the damage is largely done. The fact that you vocalized your opposition is what has caused this drama. And that is probably 80% of the damage. At this point, you have to look at, are we going to absorb the 20% remaining damage by sticking to our guns here and saying, yeah, we're not going to use it. And they're already pissed. You're not going to make them pissed. Yeah. They're already there. They'll just hold on to it longer. If you come here now and say, here's a compromise, we'll give him 2 middle names. Or if you end up caving, you've already created 80% of that damage. It's just going to be held for less time at this point. So I think you have to decide what you want and then try to find some kind of compromise. But yeah, it's your choice. It is 100% your choice. I don't think for me the question is there. I think the question for me is, how much do you value the relationships of your family?
I feel like if it was me, I would just make it the middle name. But that's just me, because I feel like the middle name isn't the end-all, be-all. Because I have a middle name. Not a lot of people know it. It's Avery. I like it. Just now you all know.
I thought he was just going to leave us hanging.
It's a good thing.
I was going to leave you hanging, but then he said
thing.
it, so now. Yeah, it's
Thor.
Thunder.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of comments here that it's not fair to put that pressure on them. I agree. And again, it's her choice not to follow that. Yeah. It's not fair. It's a structure that they knew about ahead of time, though. And for me, it's not about the fairness of wanting to use this name or the fairness of this tradition that they have, which is an odd tradition, but families have odd traditions.
It's true.
For me, it is like, you've already created damage. How much more do you want to create? If you want to end the pain and maintain these relationships, then finding a compromise would be a solution path to that. You have to define what you want and then stick to your guns on it, or define what you want and follow the path that leads to that, right? Depending on how much you value these relationships, if you end up sticking to your guns and saying, no, we're not doing it, this is unfair, this is bullshit, we need to end this tradition, just expect to to have some backlash for an extended period of time.
I think if you do that though, and if you contest it in that way, I think you have to be very gentle with how you go about that, because you also have to remember on the other side of things, the sister also just lost her child, and that's something that would suck.
Sure.
And if it was the other way around and they had lost their child, it's not necessarily right to expect them to use that middle name, but you just have to be very gentle about explaining why you aren't going to use it. And I'm sure maybe there's another way that they can honor Philip without making it the name, because at the end of the day, it is their child, not, it's an actual child and not just a symbol for her child that she lost.
Right. It's beyond a tradition. And that's why, Jen, here in response to your comment here, who you said a healthy relationship would include acceptance of the declining of the tradition. I agree with that. A healthy relationship would. However, you also have to accept and expect that sister is going to continue to take this personally because she chose to do it when it was supposed to be her son's name that was to be used. She's going to take it personally. She already is taking it personally. So if you decide not to use it, that's your choice. That's 100% your choice.
Absolutely.
And you decide you also want to have a happy and healthy relationship with these people, just accept that it's going to take some work and time. It's going to take time. And putting yourself in your sister's shoes, you would probably take it personally as well that someone decided not to follow this tradition whenever it was supposed to be your child that was honored. So there's going to be more feelings hurt for an extended period of time, no matter what. You just have to decide what's really important to you. Yeah. And there are compromises that can be made there, but it is your choice. It's your choice on which route you go, and you just have to think about what is most important to you, and there's going to be some work involved no matter which route you go.
Facts.
Facts. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Caden Thunder.
To answer one last question, I'm 20 years old, but not for long.
Only for a few more days.
I turned 21 on Monday.
Hey, there you go. Next Wednesday, Caden Thunder B-Day celebration.
Yeah.
All stories will be read by Caden Thunder. He'll be taking shots in between stories.
Oh, okay.
I can get on board with that.
All right.
Editing those last few stories is going to be tough.
It should really just be a Caden and Ted
Yeah.
live.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes, I'm a Libra.
Ted will show Caden the ropes.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
All right.
Awesome.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Caden.
Lightning bolt love for Caden there.
Hey, Pink October, your birthday is next Thursday. Happy early birthday. Jenny, we have a team thing tentatively planned. Don't forget the cake. We can't forget the cake. Jocelyn, no Candy Thunder has not shown back up yet. She will be here soon, though. Hey, Caden Thunder Golden Owl Supply Co. wants to know what your party alter ego is going to be named. He's got to think about that one. Yeah. It is probably one of those things.
It has to happen.
Okay.
You can't just decide it.
You can't decide a name before it happens. It has to match the vibe that appears with that character. Okay.
And he can't come up with his own name.
Oh, okay. He's not allowed to decide for himself. Other people have to decide.
Yes.
Huh?
Smurfs.
Smurfs? Oh, yeah.
They're not given a name at birth. They get a name once they do something.
Yeah. And also like fairies, like Tinkerbell. Like the Smurfs. Yeah. I say Tinkerbell because Navy Thunder has been watching a lot of Tinkerbell lately. That's one of her things. Ted said you got to earn it. You got to do your nickel first. You got to put the time in. We're at 1280 at 2K on those fires right now. We're at 555 of 575 on the sub goal, and we are at 75% of our likes goal already. You guys are rocking right along. We've got about 25 minutes left in the public part of the stream here. We will be doing the VIP live afterward. Don't forget, we are doing this today. The Wheel of Thunder will happen, where we'll have the top 10 gifters plus 2 new members of the Storm and 2 existing members of the Storm. We'll be drawing for a sticker pack and one of our last remaining 24 by 36 inch Signed Ask on Scale posters. So that will be going on here soon as well. Okay, I'm trying to make sure I know where we're at here. So Spicy Story and Candy appearance will happen. Hopefully she gets back in time, and timing just works all out for that perfectly. In the meantime, oh boy.
Well, I was trying to think maybe you should wait for Candy.
Should I wait for Candy for this one? Should I bounce to a different one? Here's why.
Do number 6.
Okay. Okay. I'll hold the one I was getting ready to read till Candy Thunder gets here. So here's another follower submitted story. Opie, if you happen to be in chat and want to claim your story, you know what to say. And chat, if you see OP, let me know. Queen Chewie, your altar is Lilith. Like Lilith from Frasier, because that would be awesome. All right. Follower submission here. Am I the astronaut for making plans after the bride plans to leave her bachelorette party? For making plans after the bride plans to leave. Okay, I think I'm following. I, 25 female, attended my future sister-in-law, 27 females, bachelorette weekend. Background context, I am engaged to the bride's brother, and the bride and my fiance are very close. I will be referring to her as the bride for the entire story. The other important person in the story is my fiance's brother's wife, 32 female. I will refer to her as Bailey. Henceforth shall be known as Bailey. I was one of the 2 drivers for the weekend, and Bailey was riding in my car along with 2 others. We live close to each other. The bride rode in the second vehicle with 2 others that live close to her. Bailey has a timeshare trial, and we stayed at one of the cabins that she could choose to stay at. It was a fairly cheap option cost-wise, but an extremely nice cabin. We planned out everything except the last day, and it was all a surprise to the bride. The location is somewhere she always wanted to visit but never has, and talks about it all the time since Bailey travels there often. Bride requested her nieces to be included in the trip, so it was a child-friendly bachelorette trip with no alcohol. Friday and Saturday was awesome, but we were completely exhausted. Did I hear some grumblings over there from Ted? It's boring. What kind of bullshit bachelorette weekend is that? We got back to the cabin late and told the bride a handful of things that we could do on Sunday, the last day, and told her to just let us know what she wanted to do. We let her know that the timeshare has strict rules and Bailey has to physically check out at the front office before 10 or she loses a $200 security deposit. We all agreed to wake up at 8 and get packed to head out to the place the bride decided on. She picked a local tourist staple that everyone does when visiting the area. We went to bed after making plans. Well, the rest of us woke up at 8, got breakfast made, got ready, took down decor, took trash out, cleared the fridge, packed up bags that went into my vehicle, and loaded it into the luggage cart. We tried to wake up Bride, and she didn't wake up. She slept till 9:15 and then dragged her feet all morning. I reminded her 3 or 4 times that we had to be out of the room and at the front office by 10 or Bailey would lose her deposit. The bride told us that was fine, but she also told us that she was really tired and wanted to cancel the plans for the day and just go home. We were all okay with that and understood. Bailey helped me with taking the luggage cart to my car, then asked me if I wanted to go home yet. I told her no, I was cool to do whatever. Bailey mentioned that everyone in my car has been to the bride's pick of the tourist place before, but we could go do something else that we haven't done. I told her that was fine with me, as long as the rest of my passengers were okay with it. Bailey asked the other passengers, and they were all more than happy to go. We went back up to the room and started loading the cart with the other vehicle stuff, took all the room keys, and then asked the bride if she for sure wanted to go home or if she wanted to go to the nature reserve that we decided to go to. We told her that it would only be 2 hours there, which what all it has to offer, and Bailey offered to pay $300 for the entire trip to go. The bride said no, she wanted to go home. We told her that was fine, but it's 9:50 and we were headed to the front for Bailey to check out. They were in the room still, but we had all the stuff loaded in the cart for them to take to their car. We told them we were headed out and not to get their stuff locked in the room, and they really needed to be outside by 10. My passengers and I ran to the car and got ready to pull out, and the bride is banging on my car window. She wanted to know what we were doing. I told her we needed to get to the office before 10 so Bailey could get her deposit back, and then we were headed to the nature reserve. Well, she already explained all this to her, didn't she? She said okay and said bye. We drove to the office and Bailey got checked out at 9:58. We were cutting it so close. The bride then called sobbing because we didn't hug her goodbye or invite her to join us. We reminded her that we were on a time crunch for checkout, but we were still at the front office and offered to drive back to load their car and give them hugs. We also recounted the story of us inviting her, and she admitted that she was not awake enough to make any decisions and didn't remember us asking her. We told her that we could definitely go say goodbye if they were still headed home, but they could also meet us at the nature reserve and that the invite is still there. She declined and told us to go have a good time. We went ahead with her plans, but now she is calling friends and family and telling them that we ditched her on a special weekend and that I am stealing the spotlight as a bride, since I am engaged and am planning on getting married a year after her. She even told some people that it was my idea to ditch her so I could skip a bachelorette party for myself and use hers as my own. I've told people my side of the story, and people are split on what we should have done. Am I the astronaut for making plans after the bride cut her bachelorette party short? Hell no! This girl sounds like she sucks. This is, I'm sure they have proper names for this, but she chose to victimize herself here. It was self-fulfilling, right? She created this scenario where she's like, no, that's fine. I accept this. And then turns around and is like, look what they did to me. It's so terrible. The child, but she did it on purpose. Like, no, what the hell? And remember, no booze influenced this behavior. This was not hangover bachelorette talking. This was not whiny, like got wasted bachelorette trying to piece everything together who literally can't hear the words of anything. This is fully aware bachelorette acknowledging these things and then victimizing herself to other people. This is all I can do for these kinds of people. Blech. She was tired. She was tired. She was really tired.
There's no booze, there's no
Katie Davenport, thank you for the travel in the U.S. Well themed here for the story. That's great. Lisa, serious question. Can you guys add Opie's gender and or age to the post titles? If they provide them. The other problem that we have is character limits, and that specifically comes in. Yeah, that gets tough. If it affects the character limit, we definitely can't, but we'll see what we can do. We will see what we can do. It sounds like a setup, Mesmerize. I mean, she made the decision that she made the decision the night before that she was done and didn't want to go do the thing, right? Or was it the morning of? Okay, no. It was the morning of. The bride told us that that was fine, that they needed to check out by 10, but she wanted to cancel the plans that day and just go home. She made the decision of what she wanted to do, and she got to do that thing. She doesn't get to impose that will on everyone else, does she? If it's the bachelorette weekend and she decides to cut it short, does everyone have to cut it short? Is it bad form to continue for like one event? Or do you have to do, when the bride says, you're done, you're done? Jocelyn says, can't take that the party was cut short, NT8. Well, she cut it short herself. Jade, people aren't mind readers playing guessing games. You get your feelings hurt. That's the thing here, is I feel like it was very explicit communication on OP's part and the rest of the party's part to Bridezilla here. Bridezilla was just like, I intend to victimize myself at the end of this trip. I just wanted to let you know. I need to cut our itinerary short because from 10 p.m. until 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., I will be busy victimizing myself. That is my itinerary for the day. And we're walking, we're victimizing, and we're done. After is no longer a part of the first event. It's now a new event of the people hanging out. Nikita. That's a good way to look at it. Yeah, as soon as the bride checks out, the bachelorette weekend is done. So it's now an independent group of people going to do something, all their luggage already loaded up before they head home because they went and did one thing. They were supposed to just drive straight home. Guess what? If on the way home, you guys stop at a Quick Trip, and the bride didn't get to stop at a Quick Trip, you guys did it on purpose because you're trying to steal her thunder. You intentionally left her out. She had to stop at a Come and Go. It's on purpose. Hey, we're ranked. What are we ranked? 99?
83.
83. Hey, look at that. Christine, see that toxic person? Walk the other way. I like it. I like it. Yeah. No fun without me. Yeah, this is, I was going to say pick me syndrome, but I don't think that's the right application of it. But people who, she clearly wanted to be the center of attention, made her own choices, and then used those choices to further victimize herself. That's just a shitty person. That's a person that doesn't end up with a lot of friends. It's a person that ends up alone. And the fact that she's getting ready to marry some poor unsuspecting partner, I assume they're unsuspecting, but they're going to be in for a whole lot of fun. Danny, we love Quick Trip too. Got to stop at the QT, yo. Candy Thunder is a big QT lover. All right, let's dive over to our next story here. We're at 1600 of 2K for the fire for the spicy story. Candy Thunder is now back. Candy Thunder hath returned. Okay, now I can read the story that we were going to read. We skipped one to make sure that you were here for it. It's not the spicy story that gets unlocked. We're about to unlock that, but this is a different one. You're back. All right, here we go. Here we go. This is from the AITA subreddit, and it is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Asking My Ex to Cover Money I Lost in a Taylor Swift Ticket Scam? Brand new to Reddit, but my sister suggested I post here to get the internet's opinion. I, 44 female, share 2 daughters with my ex-husband, Sam, 46 male. One of our daughters, Amy, 13 female, is a big Swiftie. Like everyone else, I've been trying unsuccessfully to get tickets to take Amy to the Eras tour. Sorry, water burp. The other day, Sam messaged Amy to say that his current wife, Liz, had a friend on Facebook who was selling tickets. Amy called me very excited, asking if we could buy the tickets. A little annoyed, he went straight to Amy instead of checking with me first, but never mind. I would agree with you there, Opie. I asked Amy to check exactly where Liz had seen the tickets for sale because I know there has been a lot of scams. Amy messaged Sam, and he said it was all good because the seller wasn't a random, but an actual friend of Liz's. I then called Sam and reiterated that there have been a lot of Facebook scams with Swift tickets, so was he sure it was legitimate? He assured me that it was fine because it was a friend of Liz's from uni who she knew well. Okay then. Liz introduced me to the seller via Facebook Messenger, and I sent the seller $1,200 by bank transfer. I also booked flights for the show. Now here's where I admittedly am a bit silly. The seller contacted me again and said I needed to transfer another $400, which should have been a red flag. But I did it because I thought this was someone Liz and Sam personally knew. Well, it was a scam. Someone had cloned Liz's friend's Facebook account. Liz messaged me to say she thought it might be dodgy, but it was too late. I later found out that Liz had seen the original post on a Facebook mums group, not posted to her friend's personal page, who she had been connected with for years. This is really frustrating for me because I had explicitly said these types of scams were happening. If I'd known, I would have double checked and they could have called the friend, not just linked up through Facebook. Sam and Liz said they felt terrible about it. Luckily, I was able to get a full refund on the flights, and my bank automatically put a hold on the $1,200 because it was a large transfer, so I could stop that. But the bank said the additional $400 could not be refunded. I messaged Sam explaining that in the end, I lost $400 and asked that since I was acting on information from him that it was legitimate, I was wondering if he would compensate me for the loss. To be honest, I would have been happy if he just paid for half of it. He replied with, I don't think so. I know you got scammed and that's unfortunate, but all we did was put you in touch with someone we thought had tickets. I'm pretty annoyed that he's acting like he had no role in this loss, but maybe I'm being unreasonable since maybe I should have been more wary. So personally, I feel like Opie asked for her ex to verify, and he vouched. He did not just put her in touch with someone, he vouched several times over. I think he has to accept some responsibility here. especially because these tickets were for his daughters. I think he has to accept some responsibility here. And really, it's Liz. It's his, not Liz. Is it Liz? Yeah. His wife, girlfriend, whatever, his partner, Liz. They both vouched. So I feel like since it was his daughters, since he vouched, since he brought it to your daughter first, which was bullshit, by the way, should have talked to you first so that you could sniff it out with more time. And then there's urgency. There's a fire lit underneath that if your kid brings it to you, it's much more intense. We get that. And then he vouched and vouched and vouched. He should, but he's the ex. Dad should at least pay half. That's where I'm at. NTA, but the dude is a level 3 ASCON. So the question was, am I the astronaut for asking my ex to cover money I lost in a Taylor Swift ticket scam? I'm going with NTA here as well. That is horse shit. He definitely should. And yeah, he's probably the ex for a reason. This may be one of those things. Nice. Hey, we hit the spicy fire goal. We get to get Candy Thunder up here. It all worked out. Timing all worked out. This, I feel like he definitely needs to cover the majority of it because he vouched over and over and over again. Now, Opie, the one clearly dumb thing that you did here, and you even claimed that, was send the additional 400. And that's the 400 that you can't recoup. And that's what you're trying to get help with here. I feel like he should pay half. He should be willing to do that. And then this bullshit excuse at the end, like, all we did was connect you with someone who might have tickets. No. You did way more than that. And maybe you need to document this out. Be like, you said that you only did this, but here's what you actually did. And have a bulleted list of the things that were actually done and show him he has more actionable responsibility in this than he's saying he does. Maybe he needs to see it in black and white. That sucks, though. The X is in the wrong here. 100% Esmeralda. I agree. Completely agree. All right, let's give some thanks here for our fire goal being met, and then we get to read a spicy story and get Candy Thunder up here to close us out for the day. Kay Siobhan, Josh Inagami, Pam K. We've got Night Shadow, Faith 1723, Just Heather, Jade Sue. We've got Seo. Is it Seo? Gosh dang it, it's going to drive me nuts now. Seo Driscoll, author, Soapy Socks, Mama Silver, Jenny Thomason, Kelsey C. Draw, El Marine 98, Joss VP, Tony Spark, Shawnee, Tanya Marie, Sharon Day Newton, Leo Named Water, Candy Thunder. We've got Alitala, Michelle Heather, DJJM, Akasha, Chelsea Stevens, Nicaraguan Alma, Michael Stevens, Darcy LC, 3 Wonderland, Cole Barber, Ginger Holly, Ruby Redhead, Blue 77, Adventures in Avalor, NB the G, Monica Snake. You hear Candy Thunder? Did you hear her back there? Monica Snake, Megan in a Box, Jill's Realm, Inky Inkblot, Elena Cameron, Piotr, Dylan Sprague, Jenny Sue, Christy Rebecca, Lisi Lex, Sir Gotham Knight, and Savannah Mahako. Thank you guys so much for helping us get there. I'll go ahead and set the next one up to carry us out for the day here. Oh goodness. You know what we haven't had up here today? We haven't had a Tony Spark up here today. Here's our chance. Here is our chance to make that happen.
That's what we're supposed to do. Hit the black skull, people.
All right. Okay, we have 1K Tucker the Turkeys to get Tony Spark up here. Look, there's this piece of confetti that landed just perfectly on top of the camera. It's just red. It's wild. You guys can't see it, obviously, but it's wild. It is wild. Oh, we hit the likes goal. Did you guys trigger the animation? Yeah. Sorry, I had the gifter names up in the way right then. Nice. That's something new that we added today. So heck yeah, that's also awesome. Okay, spicy story time. It is time. It is time. It is time to bring out the spice. Charm G, Candy Thunder just made Hershey Kisses. Like I did earlier when Caden Thunder shot it. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Spicy story. I see it. All right, here we go. Spicy reward story time. Candy Thunder, are you coming up to give feedback on this one? Is that the plan? Yeah? Okay, cool. Am I the astronaut for having my girlfriend arrested and refusing to drop the charges? I, 30 male, was dating H, 27 female, for 5 years. Our relationship had a few ups and downs, but whose relationship hasn't? About 2 months ago... Did you just trigger it again?
Yeah, she wanted to see it.
I just wanted to see. Well, I caught it. I caught it out of the corner of my eye that time. Our relationship had a few ups and downs, but whose relationship hasn't? About 2 months ago, my girlfriend left our apartment. We're both on the lease. I'll come to that later. It'll come to light later. To go to the grocery store around 5 p.m. when she hadn't returned by 10. What's going on?
She has a confetti-related injury.
You have a confetti-related injury? I was like, there's a commotion going on over here. I have to figure out what it is.
She jumped so much that she hit her hand on her desk.
You jumped so much you injured your wrist? Oh my gosh. Only Candy Thunder could injure herself sitting down, reacting to confetti. Okay, let me read this part over. I'm going to start from the top here. I, 30 male, was dating H, 27 female, for 5 years. Our relationship had a few ups and downs, but whose relationship hasn't? About 2 months ago, my girlfriend left our apartment. We're both on the lease. It'll come to light later. To go to the grocery store around 5 p.m. When she hadn't returned by 10, I started to get worried. She wasn't answering calls or texts, and also her location on Life 360 was disabled. Noticing she left her smartwatch there, I opened it up, hoping it would give me her location, and while going through it, got stuck in her messaging app. Hold up, got stuck in her messaging app? Yeah.
Oops.
I didn't.
How serendipitous.
Yes. As I could not move beyond the messaging app. I just had to keep scrolling. The only way to get out was to scroll. While in that part of the watch, I saw text from another guy's name with a heart next to it. After reading a few, it was very apparent that she was cheating on me and at the current time was out on a date with him. Upset that this is the second time she has done this to me. Hold up. It's the second time. I texted her saying I knew what she was out doing. And when she comes home, we have a lot to discuss. She did not return that night. I am a local commercial truck driver, so I spend a decent amount of my days outside the apartment, usually from about 5 a.m. to 4 p.m. Over the next 6 weeks, she would come and go from the apartment, swapping clothes, seeing our pets, but it was always gone before I came home. During this time, there was also minimal contact. After the time spent with H, I honestly wanted the relationship to continue, but I knew if it did, she needed to get her affairs in order. Saying get your affairs in order is like a threat, isn't it? Oh, she needs to plan on getting out. Get your shit together. Got it. Okay. I told her if she wanted to continue to be in a relationship with me, she needed to see a counselor and enroll us in couples counseling. Whoa. The whole thing just moved. What are you doing? Okay. They're changing the document while I'm reading it. I don't know what's happening here. Do I? Do I?
It's the first time hearing this.
Have you ever had a teleprompter change while you're reading it? No, didn't think so.
Well, glad to see you handle it.
Yeah, thanks. It's not a chili-related incident, so we can all calm down. I told her if she wanted to continue to be in the relationship with me, she needed to go see a counselor and enroll us in couples counseling. After a few weeks of still not seeing her and her saying that she's just going to worry about herself, I made a couple of dating profiles to get back out into the world. I deserve to be happy as well, right? I don't feel like that was really what you were going for here. Well, after about 2 weeks of talking to other people, I'm sitting on the couch at home and hear something at the door. H walks in, says she's staying here for the time being. She's on the lease and has every right to be there just like me. Realizing she's not wrong and not wanting to involve the police or landlord, I shrugged my shoulders, told her that she can sleep on the couch, and that's how it was for a few days. I still went out to work, went on a date or two, like she wasn't there. We had a few meals together, but it was very awkward to say the least. About a week of her being there, I had a light day at work and was let out at lunchtime. On my way home, I stopped at an authentic Mexican restaurant to grab some tacos, and while there, thinking I'll make a nice gesture, also grabbed her favorite burrito. When I got home, she said she didn't want it and didn't feel well, so I put it on the fridge, sat down at the other end of the couch, not near her, and started eating. After I was done, she got up, retrieved her food, and sat next to me on the couch for the first time since being at the apartment. Midway through her lunch, she opens up her phone, shows me the Facebook profile of the women I've been constantly seeing over the past 2 weeks, telling me she went through my phone the night before, got her info, and has proceeded to message her on both Facebook and cell phone, telling the new girlfriend to stay away from her man. Completely frustrated, I asked her why she felt the need to do that. I reminded her that she has said she's only worrying about herself and hasn't seen a counselor or attempted couples therapy, so I no longer had any interest in trying to continue the relationship. And that's when shit hit the fan. She got up screaming that I'm a horrible person, threw her burrito at me, and ran into the bedroom. Not wanting my dogs to get to the mess and possibly get sick, I started throwing the remnants away and grabbed the vacuum for the rest of the mess. Once I was finished cleaning, she came out of the bedroom with 5 or so of my sharp, pointy things and started throwing them, blade first at me, calling me a liar, POS, and a lot of other colorful things. Not wanting the situation to escalate further than it already has, I grabbed my phone, wallet, and keys and tried to leave. She grabbed a couple of the sharp things that ricocheted off my legs from the floor and guarded the door, telling me she's not letting me leave. That's when my phone came out and I started recording. After multiple times telling her to move and let me leave and her refusing, she threw one of the sharp things at me. I got upset and knowing that I got it on camera, called the police. She did the same, trying to make a false report that I threatened her with a weapon, and she did what she did in self-defense. Once the police got there, they separated us. I showed the officer the video and gave my side of the story. After about 10 minutes of talking, the officer I was talking to trades places with her partner, walks over to H, puts her in cuffs, and escorts her to the police vehicle. After the police left, I shot a text message to the mother and father of H because she was very active in talking to them, and I didn't want to receive frantic messages wondering where she is. And now the parents are treating me like I did something wrong. H is being held in jail unless someone pays $15,000 to bail her out. I have no interest, and her parents live across the country. They're now calling and texting me saying I'm the asshole and that I should drop the charges. Their baby doesn't belong in jail. In one phrase, I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there either. In another, she caused and did a lot of harm, and I don't see the benefit to her not being there. That's my story. Am I the astronaut? Ladies and gentlemen,
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Candy Thunder!
It's getting all your confetti off.
Yeah, there's just like, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's just getting clumpier and clumpier. It's like old milk or cottage cheese. The confetti doesn't age well with time. It gets clumpy.
What?
This is where Caden Thunder gets it.
Yeah, clearly.
He just delivers it in a much more...
Okay. This might be the most dysfunctional relationship that we've ever seen. And this was a follower submission, right, Tony? Yeah, this was a follower submission.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was deleting was the email off there, and I forgot that it was going to ship.
Okay. So I really want to focus away from cottage cheese and back to the story. But I feel like there are people that can be toxic to each other, but aren't actually toxic people. And this guy maybe, she kind of seems like she's toxic all over the place, but I don't know that he's a toxic person. But together they make the most toxic couple that I think we've ever seen.
And that's a really, really good observation. There are plenty of people who the pairing ends up being toxic to this degree, but
Yes.
separate or with other people, completely normal, fine,
and
normal people.
I don't feel like the burrito should have been damaged in this scenario. I felt like her throwing the burrito was too far. Like, he was being nice. He bought you a burrito, and then you threw it at him. I mean, let's not talk about the sharp objects or the
Threw a burrito at
the
him
fake
for
pew pew.
which was entirely hypocritical because she was calling him out for doing things that she's done multiple times, right? She's like, yeah, and I'm going to chuck a burrito at you.
Right.
Was it hot or still frozen? Or I guess it wasn't frozen. He picked it up on the way home. So, like, did she heat it up first? Because if so, that matters.
Well, I think he just brought her a burrito from a Taco Bell, and she threw it at him, which is team burrito. Yes. Yeah. Right.
Hey. Yeah, I think she was obviously hypocritical here.
This is I have problems. I can do whatever I want, but you can't. I own you. You can't be with anyone else, but I don't want you either. And that to me is a very toxic person. Like she's ASCON 1. She needs to be in jail. That's where she belongs. Like this could have escalated to something so much worse than what it did.
Well, and she tried to.
Yeah, she seems. I mean, throwing sharp, pointy objects at people. We all know what that is, but throwing that. I mean, that's to the point where she is where she deserves to be.
So Zanita, you say cheating back is not a good solution, though. They weren't together. Whenever he was starting to date other people, they weren't together anymore. But both of their names were on the lease for this apartment, which is why she showed back up. So she had, at that point, the relationship was over. She didn't have any right to go through his things. Not that he had a right to go through her things either. But that was the second time whenever he went through her stuff, got stuck in her messaging app, which sounds like bullshit, by the way.
Well, I mean, he probably had a suspicion and went to confirm his suspicions with whatever device he could get his hands on. Right. And I'm not saying that's the right way to do things, but obviously something prompted that. He'd been cheated on by this person before, so trust was already broken.
Right.
But I don't know how you could have stayed in this relationship. And I don't think he did. He left, obviously, because he was starting to see other people. But I don't know why. I'm like, I don't know. It's just weird.
This Shawbucks. We were on a break. This is way more toxic and complicated than Ross and Rachel. Way more toxic and complicated.
I'm so glad that he got that on camera, because the way that she tried to turn this situation around, where it was him trying to hurt her and she did this in self-defense, is so messed up. Right.
And Roses in the Sky, you said, what if that was a guy throwing things? I think, unfortunately, the default story sans video in here.
Right, exactly.
She probably would have been believed, and they would either both be in jail or it would just be him. So that sucks. But the fact that this couple together has the potential or capacity to get to that level of escalation means they should never be around each other again. And I think what you said about this being a toxic pairing, maybe not toxic people individually, but a toxic pairing.
She's toxic AF.
Yeah, it sounds like it, but she might just be toxic with him. Like the whole toxic pairing thing might just be a pairing thing.
I
Tony
disagree.
Spark and Candy are both like, nope.
I think the fact that she felt it was okay to come back. I'm assuming whatever guy she left him for was over.
Kicked her out.
Yeah, so she came back to this relationship, whatever was left of it, to say that she had her name on the lease and she could stay there. That's shitty. She's showing you according to his version of the events, she's showing us who she is, and it's not a good person.
Opie, note for the future, you can.
Yeah,
you can get with the supers of your apartment complex or whatever and actually have someone's name removed from the lease, though. And then she would have no claim to come back. I don't know if she was paying rent while she wasn't staying there, or if she started when she came back. I don't know what that structure was. But if her name being on the lease is what allowed all this to happen, you can get that removed.
Right.
It's rough. Like, this is Smoots relation shit. That's exactly what this is.
I love that word.
This is a mess. I don't know that
we're gonna keep that one.
Starting to get out in the world and date after having like this toxic relationship, where she just kind of disappeared after she got busted.
What is
I don't think that was the right move for your happiness. Like, there needed to be some time to get closure and actually heal and get comfortable with yourself here. It almost feels like the move to start dating quickly was a prod to try to get back at her. And that could have led to escalation here. I don't know. This is a complicated situation, but you guys for sure should never be around each other again. Never.
So where are we at on the goal for?
We're at 280 of 1K.
So what we're going to do, Tony has to cook. He's not going to be on the VIP live because he has to cook 300 pounds of for a chili feed tomorrow. He's not going to be at work. He's cooking chili for the foreseeable future. Tony is cooking chili. So it's for the kids.
It's not for us. We're not going to eat 300 pounds of chili.
But
With the way disaster's going right now, you know.
we're gonna bring him on, and we need to send him off with some good vibes so he can. There was some issues with the cookware of whatever he needed to cook this 300 pounds of chili. So we're gonna bring him on and give him some good vibes and let him say hi to you guys before he has to.
Everybody's got to pump him up.
Before he has to go to chili.
Excuse me, calling audibles, are we?
Yes. Come on, Tony Spark.
Yep, all kinds of audibles here. And let's have you come on and talk about this
300 pounds
this
of chili.
spicy chili story. Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Spark!
Hi. What's up? How's everybody doing?
Tell him what happened.
Well, okay. So our church has a annual chili dinner, chili supper thing. And yeah, so for some reason I volunteered-ish to cook it. And yeah, so we have this big giant commercial sized chili pot. I don't know. It's like 40 gallon, I don't know. It's huge. Anyway, apparently it's not working. So I have to start cooking it tonight, and we had somebody come out and look at it, and yeah, it's not working. So, and we're already having to cook the soup for this on the stove because our soup pot is also broken. So apparently we're not a wealthy church. So we're already having to make the pot, we're already to make the soup and pots on the stove that only half of the stove works too.
Instead of helping the children this year, they'll be buying new cookware.
Yeah. So, luckily we, you know, it's always all about who you know. And sometimes you just know the right people. And I messaged a couple people, and it sounds like now we're getting, I'm still cooking the chili, but now I'm cooking it at a different location in a different kitchen and a different, yeah. So our local YMCA is helping us out. It sounds like, so it's just going to be, instead of doing it the easy way, it's I could be making chili for the next 12 hours. So that's going to be fun, but yeah, it'll work out.
What did you think about this story?
Well, she's cray. I mean, she came back, right? She moved out and then she came back. And I think it's like what you said. I think whoever she was with or whoever the guy that she was cheating on clearly was done with her too. And so she went back to him. But then to sit there and be like, she's out with other people. He's out with other people. But then she goes on his phone and is like, oh yeah, don't mess with, or she tells her, don't mess with my man, blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's not your man. Like, you left and you're crazy and then you're throwing things at him. And yeah.
Angel had a comment on there that October is actually Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So I think this story is right in line with that.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like what you said. And I think somebody said that if the roles are reversed, like, I mean, you'd be, yeah, I mean, it goes both ways. Yeah, it goes both ways. And I think this clearly shows that. I mean, she was the aggressor in this situation for all of it. She was the one throwing sharp, pointy things at him. And burritos. I mean, Ron Burgundy got his dog punted off a bridge for throwing a burrito at somebody. So, you know, poor Baxter. Baxter, the bad man. I'm in a glass case of emotion. Yeah, poor Baxter. But, yeah, no, she clearly has some issues, and I don't think he should have to pay her bail, and I don't think the parents should pay her bail. Maybe she should just sit there for a little while and think about,
learn a lesson and
think about some things, and that's not, and the fact that she tried to turn it on him and tried to tell the police that, you know, oh, he did it, he attacked me. It's like, bro, you hit him with a burrito and then you threw sharp things at him. Yeah.
Dude.
So anyway.
All right, man.
I'm gonna
chili cooking.
I'm gonna go cook chili now. Hopefully,
300 pounds.
That's just the hamburger. It's like,
man, I don't even. That's a wild amount of chili, dude. It is a wild amount of chili. Okay, so we are now going to flip over to the VIP live. So we'll get set up for that, and we'll keep our goal going throughout that. VIPs, you're always kicking ass at that, and we'll just keep this one going. So we're going to go ahead and flip over to that. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. We'll get some confetti rocked out here. We're almost to 900K on our likes goal here. That is flipping amazing. Yeah, I'll vamp until we get there. That's cool. Like away. Karina, agree with everything. Just wondering if he lied about getting stuck in the messaging app. That's like one of those, the old I fell and tripped and my thing got stuck in someone. Like that's how a cheating happened. It seems sus. That does sound sus. No matter what, it's a toxic situation that you have to get away from. And I do believe that there are couples that are toxic couples that are probably perfectly normal, fine, functional people without that partner. So, and I assume that toxicity, if left unchecked, could escalate to the level of domestic violence, like it tried to here. And in October, Domestic Violence Awareness Month, I think it is important to keep that in mind. If you're with someone, or you know someone who's with someone that reveals the worst in them, and it becomes an escalation game, that is a toxic relationship that has the capacity to end up in a situation like this, and they need to get out of it. They can't be in that for their own personal safety. If there are kids involved, they definitely can't be in that kind of situation. But remember, it goes both ways. It goes all directions. It's not just one type of person that this happens to. It happens to everybody. So it's wild. Queen Huntress, Chaps Angel, subscribed the first time, became a member of the fam. Theosaurus Rex, back with us again. James Raw 597 for the first time. Thank you so much and welcome to the fam. New members after the VIP live today, I'll send you a message that'll give you instructions on how to get to the VIP group on Facebook. We'll get set up for that VIP live here shortly, and we'll see you about 10 to 15. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. Liz Rhodes, Justin, Queen Huntress, Mary, Dylan Spray, thank you so much for the gifts, rounding us out here at the end. Oh, we've got a Galaxy incoming here as well. XOXO, thank you so much for the Galaxy Original Gems with the Heart Me. First time sending a gift through. Thank you so much for that. Greatly appreciate it. You guys are amazing. 912.8K. You guys rock. Okay, yeah, we've got the T-Swift Chiefs gear here. This is Charlie Hustle, right? It's a Charlie Hustle shirt, my red era, and I had to, of course, pair it up with the Kingdom hat, which I think is just from the Pro Shop. So the NFL Pro Shop online or the Chiefs Pro Shop online, you can get that there. Love this hat, this design I've got in a couple of different hats and shirt and sticker and all kinds of stuff. Big fan. Micaiah Grange, thank you so much for the Heart Me there. Original Gems, you as well. You all are awesome. Thank you so much for being here today, VIPs. We'll see you here in about 10 minutes.